The House will come to order. Today, the pledge will be led by Representative Matthew Martinez from Monte Vista, Colorado.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Schiebel, please call the roll.
Representatives Amabile, Armagost, Bacon, Byrd, Bockenfeld, Basenecker, Bottoms, Bradfield, Bradley, Brown, Catlin, Doherty, DeGraff, Degree-Kennedy, Dixon, Duran, English, Representative English,
Excused.
Epps, Evans, Frizzell, Froelich, Garcia, Gonzalez Gutierrez, Hamrick, Hartsook, Herod, Representative Herod,
Excused.
Holtorf, Judah, Rep. Judah,
Excused.
Joseph, Kip, Leader, Lindsay, Linstead, Rep. Linstead, Representative Luck is excused, Lukens, Lynch, Mabry, Marshall, Martinez, Morrow, McCormick, McLaughlin, Michael Sinjane, Ortiz, Parenti, Puglisi, Ricks, Representative Ricks,
Excused.
Sharbini, Sirota, Snyder, Soper, Story, Taggart, Titone, Valdez, Velasco, Rep. Velasco,
Excused.
Vigil, Weinberg, Weissman, Wilford, Wilson, Winter, Woodrow, Young, and Madam Speaker.
Here. With 60 present, 5 excused, we do have a quorum. Representative Martinez, what do you have for us today?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
And an honor to serve with you.
Well, members, since potatoes didn't do it for you yesterday, which I love potatoes with almost everything, I know one thing that you do like is Pueblo chili. And I know that you like Pueblo chili because there's no Pueblo chili left on your desks from when we delivered those on. So I know that you like Pueblo chili. So if you do like Pueblo chili and you ate your Pueblo chili, I urge an aye vote. So I move that the Journal of Monday, March 6, 2023 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Representative Martinez, that was quite the tasty and spicy motion. Members, you have heard the motion that the journal be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Members, my goodness. The ayes have it, the motion is adopted. Announcements and introductions. Representative Weissman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That's a bit much of an act to follow, but I do have some news about the Judiciary Committee today at 1:30 in room 112, which is our standard room downstairs. We are hearing 2 bills, not 3, but 2. We will hear House Bill 1086, that is back from last time for new testimony and action on any amendments. We are not hearing 1169 today. Again, House Judiciary will not be hearing House Bill 1169 today. We will then continue with House Bill 1214. See you at 1:30.
Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So today, big day today, we are joined by students and grantees from the Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, or COSI. Department of Higher Education, would you all stand up, please? It's a big day. Yay. So the COSI initiative was established in 2014 with the goal of boosting financial access and academic support services to Colorado students. Since then, COSI has grown to create 7 programs across the state, serving both traditional and non-traditional students all over Colorado. These programs provide scholarships, fund student support services at Colorado public institutions, and provide programming that helps high school seniors discover their college options and complete their student aid applications. Annually, COSI programs serve more than 20,000 students. It supports underserved Coloradans, 59% being students of color, 72% being Pell eligible, and COSI students range in age from 16 to 75. So I want you to join me in celebrating COSI Day at the Capitol, Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, and welcome our students, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Michelson-Jeannet.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Public and Behavioral Health and Human Services, we are meeting together with Health and Insurance upon adjournment. We're going to have a program on Colorado's aging population. This is going to be a very important meeting. I look forward to seeing you all there. And then at 1:30, we will be hearing one bill. We will be hearing 1204 in room 107. And now, if I can have permission to call the Jewish Caucus forward.
Thank you, Representative Michelson-Jeannet.
So here we are, the Jewish Caucus. Most of the Jewish Caucus. I'm missing Representative Dixon. There she is. Okay. Today is the Jewish holiday of Purim. And Purim is a really exciting holiday for kids because the entire holiday of Purim is about getting dressed up in costume, eating really great cookies that I didn't get to bake you this year. I'm so sorry. It is the story of Queen Esther who saves the day. So it's a powerful, powerful women's story. So we say, Happy Purim, Happy Purim.
Thank you, Representative Michelson-Jeannet. Representative Woodrow.
Good morning, colleagues. Chag Sameach. It is Purim, a wonderful celebration marking the survival of our people through the heroics of Queen Esther. It's a joyous time when we dress up and have a little fun, and we totally breach decorum. And it reminds us that endurance often requires levity. And let's remember that as we do our work here. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Froelich.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Transportation, Housing, and Local Government Committee will meet at 1:30 LSBA to hear 1147, 110, and 77. And then tomorrow, 1:30, same room, LSBA for Senate Bill 57. Thank you.
Representative Titone.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have 2 shadows today from Mapleton Public Schools. They're over there if you want to stand up so we can recognize you, that's Quinn and Michelle. They're going to be finding out what we do here. So if you see them around the chamber, follow me around. That's what they're doing. Show them a little welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Tomorrow morning at 7:45, the Water Resources and Agriculture Review Committee will be meeting in the in Senate Committee Room 357 to hear a discussion on stream restoration policy and an update on the interstate water compact issues that we're dealing with. So if you're on that committee, please be there tomorrow morning at 7:45.
Thank you, Representative McCormick. Important opportunity. Thank you. Representative Kipp.
Good morning, members. Hey, today we have the Council of State Governments in the House. If you're not familiar with the Council of State Governments, they are one of the state organizations that cover state governments throughout the entire country. They are here. They're having a reception tonight from 5:30 to 7 over at 225 East 16th and that penthouse over at the Capitol Center. Also tomorrow, for people who are potentially if you are in your first 4 years of service, you are welcome to apply for the Western Legislative Academy, which is an academy that they offer every year, and they usually pick around 3 people from every state to attend. So if you are at all interested, many of us have attended. It's a great opportunity, and it is something that we pay for with our CSG dues. So I really encourage people to take advantage of the opportunity and apply. Please talk to me if you have any questions, but there will be a lunch to talk about that tomorrow in the basement. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Kipp. Assistant Majority Leader Bacon.
Thank you, members. I just wanted to point out that Excel is in the building today. If you haven't had a chance to check out their breakfast, we also have some employees here. The Black Caucus also wanted to commend the new President Robert Kenney. And so again, if you haven't had a chance, please check out Excel. And we have some employees here to my right that are here to visit with you all today. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Wilford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, members. I have a couple of introductions. First, I wanted to start with Thornton City Council members who are in the audience today. Thornton Council member Kathy Henson and Karen Bigelow, please stand to be recognized. So glad to have you both here with us today. And then the other introduction I wanted to make is for my number one most important constituent, and that is my daughter, Caroline, who's going to be joining us today. So hope you can help me welcome her.
What a cutie. Other announcements. Assistant Minority Leader Puglisi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The National Association of Benefits Insurance Professionals has a reception tonight, if you're all interested, from 5:30 to 7 at the Fire Terrace at the Art Hotel. Hope that you can join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Winter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to let everybody know on behalf of rural Colorado, today is Tractor Day at the State Capitol. It'll be from 10 to 1 o'clock in Lincoln Park, just west of the State Capitol. A John Deere tractor is available to check out all the bells and whistles and talk to a technician that can show you and discuss with you all the different repairs available to owners and to show you the diagnostic tools that are also available. So Tractor Day at the Capitol from 10 to 1 in Lincoln Park. Thank you.
Representative Winter, there could not be a better day. Tractor Day. Love it. Representative Hartsook.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to recognize in the back, we've got 3 students from my district in Chaparral High School that are here to shadow me for the day. If we give them a warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we have a tribute. Representative Michelson-Janae.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I request that the tribute be read at length.
Mr. Schiebel, please read our tribute at length.
The House of Representatives convened in the 74th General Assembly hereby extends sincere commendations to the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. In honor of International Women's Day, the Colorado House of Representatives recognizes the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce in their 35th year. We recognize their impact in supporting women by providing them with opportunities that grow their businesses and careers, achieve success in work and in life, and better their communities and economy. The Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce is one of the largest women-centric chambers in the country, with 1,800 individual members and 435 member companies, ranging from solopreneurs to the largest companies in Colorado, with over 50% of members being small and micro business owners. The Chamber has grown their national and statewide partnerships, expanding their reach to elevate the voices of women, small business owners, women of color, and underserved communities. The House of Representatives extends gratitude to the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce for their efforts to make Colorado the #1 state for advancing women in business. On request of Representative Daphna Michelson-Janae, given the 7th day of March 2023, State Capitol, Denver.
Representative Michelson-Janae.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And it is such an honor to be able to welcome the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce here today, an amazing organization which, if you haven't checked out, you should check it out. They are doing wonderful things for women in business and women business owners from small to large. And I couldn't be more proud to be a member of this organization. So please, let's have the women from the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce please rise and please welcome them today.
Thank you, Representative Michelson-Janae. Last announcement, Representative Joseph will replace Representative Gonzalez-Gutierrez on the Committee of Public and Behavioral Health and Human Services for today only. Our next order of business members, we will stand in a brief recess. The House will come back to order. One other announcement, members. Representative Bottoms will replace Representative Luck on Judiciary on the Committee on Judiciary today for today only. Thank you. Our first order of business is third reading of bills, final passage. Ask members to take their seats. We are voting. Thank you. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1192.
House Bill 1192 by Representative Weissman, also Senators Gonzalez and Rodriguez, concerning the creation of additional protections in the Consumer Code.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1192 on third reading and final passage.
Members, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1192 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 41 aye, 21 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1192 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of House Bill 1190.
House Bill 1190 by Representatives Basenecker and Sirota, also Senator Winter F., concerning a right of first refusal to purchase qualifying multifamily residential property by a local government.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1190 on third reading and final passage.
Thank you, Majority Leader Duran. Representative Winter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, I come up and ask you all, I urge a no vote. I've had constituents in my district reach out to me in the last couple days, and once again, they look at this as a first step bill. They look at this as a land grab that will take much needed property for livestock production and for crop growth to feed Coloradans. And they want to make sure that in rural Colorado that we can continue to do that job, to make sure that we supply Coloradans with good groceries. Another issue that they have is they're really worried about the water. They know that somebody can grab a hold of this and transfer the water over, and they know the growth of the Front Range depends on the water of rural Colorado, and what they're afraid of, it isn't that they don't want to see growth, they're afraid the water will be pulled from their agri-centered communities. In these communities, that's what a lot of them have, is just agriculture, and if you pull that water out of these counties, that eventually puts an end to their economies, their way of life. So I ask you, please, think about this again, think about rural Colorado, and I urge a no vote.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also ask for a no vote on this bill. This bill puts a lot of onus on the property owner to meet the needs of the municipality or the county, to the point that there is a $50,000 fine if a property owner wants to sell their property and the municipality didn't get the email. And what about property tax? If you think of the property tax provided for schools by 2 apartment complexes and those are sold, then nobody's paying the property taxes, because a municipality or a county does not have to pay those property taxes if they own the property. So you would be losing, this could cause a loss of funds for schools, fire departments, water departments. Also, like my rural partner said, the ranch property. In this bill, 3 or more units has to be offered to the city or county. When you have a ranch, there's most likely that you have at least 2 or 3 dwelling units for ranch hands. This would include that. And then, instead of selling your ranch or your farm to another rancher or farmer, the municipality or the county is getting the option to take that. So please consider those things, and I ask for a no vote on this bill. Thank you.
Representative Holtorf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, esteemed colleagues. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this bill. I too am very concerned and will be a no. And I'm going to tell you why. On the edge of town in rural Colorado, there's farm ground. Many of us in rural Colorado want to continue our legacy of farming and ranching. And we have to have the ability to pass those opportunities down to our children or family members so we can continue what's called a multi-generational legacy. The problem I have and my constituents have with this is on the edge of town is land, and many municipalities oftentimes want that land to build projects like this. So herein lies the conundrum. Now, this isn't specifically this, but as my colleague said, there's concern that this will be the beginning of an extension under the auspices of building homes. Let's say that I want to sell my land to my daughter. I have 5 to choose from. Which one wants to continue the farming and ranching legacy? And I have a quarter of land right on the edge of town. But the city planners have been planning and planning and planning. And they've targeted this land for a new residential facility, apartment complex, housing units that are subsidized. Maybe a nonprofit is going to get involved in that building and subsidization, and the municipality is going to get in business with them. And at the time and place that I want to transfer that land to one of my daughters, then I cannot. I cannot transfer that quarter, that 80, or 160, because a quarter of ground is 160 acres, and half of a quarter is an eighth, and that's 80. You can farm an 80, you can farm a quarter. It's really hard to farm a 40, but you can farm a 40 if you have irrigated water. So there's a lot of problems on the horizon. Because if I'm denied my right to sell that land to one of my daughters because of something like this, where the state now is saying, oh no, this municipality has the right of first refusal, an extension of what is this bill under the same precedents, because this is establishing precedents. It's not okay. It's not okay to deny that right. It's fundamental. Yes, we're trying to solve a problem, and I understand that. But when we infringe upon private property rights and the free will of humanity to transfer what is theirs to somebody else, that's not okay. That's not what this country was built on. This great country. The foundational bricks of the greatest country in modern times, the United States of America. Let's understand that, and let's be very careful as we try to step on and trample the rights of humanity, the rights of American citizens, one small cut at a time. Because there are third, fourth, and fifth order consequences of everything we do in this building. And you've heard me say 1,000,000 times, if not 1,000. We've got to be careful about the extended effects of everything we do. And I have given you a very clear, specific example, and my constituents have spoken to me about this. And they, in rural Colorado, are scared to death of what's happening in the Gold Dome. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will be a no on this bill. I encourage everyone else to vote no on this bill and find a better pathway to building homes for those people that need a home.
Representative Holtorf, thank you. I will caution folks to stay focused on the bill at hand. We are voting on House Bill 1190. Representative DeGraff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is indeed a privilege to serve with you.
It is a privilege to serve with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is eminent domain where the government takes property. This is a seizure of property. The Fifth Amendment and 14th Amendment both restrict this, both demand that it can't happen. You're not, the government, this body is not allowed to deprive someone of property without the due process of law. If you're willing to violate the Fifth and 14th Amendment for the deprivation of property without due process of law, where are the other two items, life or liberty? If you've thrown out the Fifth and 14th Amendment, then life and liberty are clearly in jeopardy. These are not even fifth order effects. These are direct effects. You're negating large swaths of our Constitution. The Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, does not grant rights. It recognizes rights. It recognizes rights as inalienable. The rights of life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness, of course, was deemed, was large held to be property. And then that was taken out of the Constitution, of course, to make sure that slavery wasn't protected. But this is eminent domain, where the government takes property. For the purpose of affordable housing, which, as I discussed yesterday, which just means 30%. 30% of the income of somebody, doesn't say what that income level is. The government could be running a housing operation, inserting itself, creating a forced market for housing. That has nothing to do with affordable housing for low income. This has to do with affordable housing for the folks that are transplanting in from California. These are not low income properties. You're inserting, where in the Constitution, where in our Declaration of Independence does it allow the government to get involved in this? To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. When the government seizes property, where is the consent of the governed? Where is it? Where's the consent of the governed in a seizure of property? Is that okay? Is it okay for the government to seize property? Just because they're a farmer? Just because they have a property? Just because you have the good intentions of creating something that you consider affordable housing? If you want to create affordable housing, a large cost of that is energy. The energy to build the house, the energy to heat the house. Do what you can where you can. Stop making energy so expensive.
Representative DeGraff, please focus on the bill.
Well, I think I am, ma'am, but I understand. This invites a collusion between government and industry. The industry of housing, of corporations buying up housing units. This is a straight collusion. The government can take their first right of refusal and pass it off to somebody else. They can seize your property. This body wants to give permission to local governments to seize your property. And they get to determine what the value is. And then they get to tie it up for 6 months. That's going to have a big effect on constituents that I have in El Paso County. We have multiple military bases. Sometimes you have a very short time to sell a house. And then the government comes in and says, we're going to tie that up for 6 months. You can't rent it, you can't sell it, and then you have a rental agreement that you can't get out of. The direct effects of the legislation, this body is the road crew to hell. It violates the 5th and 14th Amendment. It deprives due property without due process. It creates far, far more problems than you think it's going to solve. I urge this body to look beyond the feel-good intentions of creating, which we've already established historically. This is going to limit supply. It's going to drive up costs. It's going to limit people's mobility. Everything about these rent control bills is a bad idea. From start to finish, the forced market is a bad idea. The free market depends on millions of people making millions of decisions. The forced market is dependent on this body making a rubber stamp decision to feel good and for short-term political gain. And you are going to make Colorado a miserable location.
Representative
for rentals.
DeGraff, please do not impugn the motives of others in this chamber. I will ask you to wrap up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm not impugning why they would, just that it would. But that's it for me. You'll be violating the 5th and 14th Amendment, violating your oath. I ask you to vote your conscience.
Representative Basenecker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
And an honor to serve with you.
I appreciate the dialogue that we had yesterday on this bill, and I think it's always good to have robust conversations around an issue that impacts every part of our state, and that is affordable housing. Rural Colorado, urban Colorado, the rural resort parts of our state. You cannot travel in any part of our state and not hear a concern from residents about the cost of housing and the worry that they will not be able to stay in their homes for much longer, and the worry about what happens when out-of-state or multi-state investors come in and purchase large segments of our housing stock. This is a real concern for folks. The ability to stay in the community where your kids go to school, where you work, where you would like to retire and stay retired. So I do take this issue very seriously. I do listen to rural folks in our state, to rural resort communities in our state, to folks along the I-25 corridor, because there are values that bind us together, and that is the value that folks should be able to live and stay in their homes, and that we as a state have a role to play in that conversation. Now, we can disagree on policy, and that is fine and good. That is our job, to be deliberative. But I do want to address a couple of the key points that were raised in hopes of clarifying how they do or don't intersect with the language that is in your bill folder. Regarding livestock, ranching, farming, and the value of land to our rural communities, that is a shared value. This bill does not apply to land. It does not apply to ranching land. It does not apply to single-family homes. It does not apply to land that you would hope to transfer to a family member. In fact, in the bill, there is a specific exemption for the transfer of land between family members through a will or an estate. There are certain places where this bill is not appropriate, and we believe we have accounted for those instances. This bill does not give the state or a local government or a county any right to your land that you are using for ranching or farming or whatever purpose you might put it to. Now, if there is a multifamily housing unit, 3 units and above in a rural or rural resort part of our state, 5 units and above urban parts of our state, yes, then there is a right of first refusal that a local government could potentially exercise, with an emphasis on could. I think it's also important to clarify that this is not eminent domain. That process is spelled out in statute, and folks who work in our municipalities and our counties know that process well, and we know that they tend not to use those tools because of the difficulty around exercising those rights. This is a right of first refusal to preserve affordable housing, to preserve existing multifamily housing in our state. Regarding collusion, it's a shared concern. It's why we've addressed it in the bill to prevent third parties from inflating a price. I would also note that the price is key here. The seller stays in the driver's seat the entire time. They name their purchase price, they name their terms, and if the local government can match those terms at a rate that is competitive with market rates or whatever the seller decides, that is their ability to do so, but the seller names the price. There is no point in the process in which a seller's value would be undercut by the local government. If the seller's price changes, the local government would have to meet that price. That is the market working and local governments having an inroad to be able to preserve affordable housing at market rate. Regarding constitutionality of the bill, we have worked closely both in House Bill 22-1287, which established a right of first refusal for mobile home parks, and in this legislation to ensure that the right of first refusal, when granted to a public entity as opposed to a private entity like citizens or a nonprofit, is indeed put to use for the good of public housing on behalf of communities. We believe this fits the constitutional test, not only because of case law here in our state, but elsewhere. Lastly, regarding affordability, there are strict affordability requirements that a local government would have to agree to should they exercise their right of first refusal. I would caution anybody from going down a path legislatively that would be a land grab. I could not support that. That is not what this bill is. This bill is a local government meeting the best purchase price that a seller is willing to offer and preserving affordable housing for teachers, for firefighters, for law enforcement folks, for people who work in retail in our communities, who are concerned about their ability to stay in those communities and serve our constituents the way that they do day in and day out. I understand that we fundamentally disagree on the premise and the principle behind the bill, but the bill language matters. And I believe we've defined a responsible approach to keep people housed. And I thank you for your consideration, and I respectfully ask for a yes vote.
Representative DeGraff, this is your second and final time to speak. You have 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The intent of this bill is noble. But being noble does not give us the right to violate the 5th and 14th Amendment. The right of first refusal is a property right. Now, if the city, for whatever reason, wants to expend tax dollars and buy something and make an offer, fine. They can make an offer. But being allowed to hold up a sale for longer than the offer is a deprivation of property without due process. So it really doesn't matter what the intent of the language is. If you deprive somebody of property without due process, you have violated both their 5th and 14th Amendments, and you have put legal standing on a very, very slippery slope. So this bill could have been, well, it's not even necessary. The city can just go in and they can make an offer for the property. But it doesn't give the city, city, county, township, municipality the right to hold up a sale or take their right of first refusal and then transfer it to another entity. Just because they're a nonprofit entity, there's lots of nonprofit entities. That's not really a difficult game to get into. This is still seizure of property, deprivation of property without due process. This is going to have a serious effect on the military communities, especially the active duty bases in Colorado Springs, because they cannot move their property quickly. I have had orders, international orders given to me, and I had to arrange a move within 1 week. Fortunately, I didn't have property to sell. This will greatly complicate that. You're going to have people that are in the process of move. They're going to have moved, and they're going to be tied to Colorado Springs, where they can't buy a house someplace else. They can't move forward. They can't move backwards. This, on the military community in El Paso County, this is going to have a huge and negative effect. You have multiple Air Force bases. You have Fort Carson. If this solved a problem, great. This won't solve the problem. If it didn't violate the 5th and 14th Amendment, great, but it does. I urge you constitutionally to vote no on this bill.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1190 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 21 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1190 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to Senate Bill 95.
Senate Bill 95 by Senators Janal and Gardner, also Representative Soper and Doherty, concerning criminalizing unlawfully pointing a laser device at an aircraft.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move Senate Bill 95 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 95 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 59 aye, 5 no, and 1 excuse, Senate Bill 95 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to Senate Bill 28.
Senate Bill 28 by Senator Gonzalez, also Representatives Epps and Soper, concerning the penalty for committing any of certain offenses involving the operation of a commercial vehicle.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move Senate Bill 28 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 28 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 59 aye, 5 no, and 1 excuse, Senate Bill 28 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Our next order of business, members, is General Order's second reading. Thank you. Representative Joseph. Of general orders. Thank you, Representative Joseph. Members, you've heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the House will resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders. Representative Joseph will take the chair.
Yes. Yes, thank you. The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bill will be read by title. Unless there is a request for reading a bill at length, committee reports are printed in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen in your iPad. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the majority leader. The court rule is relaxed. Now, Mr. Shibble, please read the title to House Bill 1039.
House Bill 1039 by Representative Byrd, also Senators Rodriguez and Winter F., concerning a requirement that electric load-serving entities periodically report about the adequacy of their electric resources and in connection therewith, making an appropriation.
Representative Byrd,
Hello, Madam Chair. What an honor it is to serve with you.
it is truly an honor to serve with you.
I move House Bill 1039.
Mr. Shibble, please. To the bill. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I am back. This is, again, as I said, House Bill 1039. I have an amendment for your consideration. This is a bill we previously approved on third reading, and I forgot to add an amendment the first time we heard this bill, so now we are about to hear an amendment. And I ask that it be properly displayed, and I did move it. I move the amendment. I move Amendment L003 and ask that it be displayed. I'm a little rusty. We're getting there. We're warming up. It's a really good amendment. Stay tuned. The big reveal is coming. What's that? It's a Panasonic.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
It's still warming up.
L003 has been moved and properly displayed to the amendment.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. So, members, just to refresh your memory, this is a bill that requires each load-serving entity in our state to submit an annual report to their respective regulators outlining their capacity to meet energy demand in our state. The amendment I have for you before clarifies that individual renewable energy facilities and owners of such facilities are not required to file resource adequacy annual reports for individual facilities. Rather, only load-serving entities are required to file resource adequacy annual reports. I ask for your yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on L003, Amendment L003? Seeing none, the amendment passed. Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of L003. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The amendment passes. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no other changes and ask for your continued support of this bill.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of 1039, House Bill 1039 as amended. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. 1039 passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Shibble, please. Oh, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1114 until tomorrow.
House Bill 1114 has been laid over until tomorrow. Madam Speaker? Mr. Shibble, please read the title to House Bill 1185.
House Bill 1185 by Representative Doherty, concerning procedures relating to the replacement of elected officials.
Representative Doherty.
Thank you. I move House Bill 1185.
To the bill. Representative Doherty.
This bill
that has two, I'll talk about the Title 31 portions. Title 31 vacancies. This bill would identify how a municipal election could be called if there are not enough members of the governing body available to form a quorum. And in such situations, the bill gives the municipal clerk the ability to set the election date. And then there is a Title 31 recall section, which requires the members of a municipal recall committee be registered electors of the municipality.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I move Amendment 001 and ask that it be properly displayed.
L001 has been moved and properly displayed to the amendment. Representative Wilson.
Thank you. This amendment strikes out the Title I section of the bill, allowing this bill just to focus on issues in the municipal election area. For some of you, smaller municipalities, if you've been in government there, elections can be kind of hairy because there is little direction on how a smaller municipality is supposed to run their elections. They have to figure out a lot of it on their own. So I would ask for a yes vote on this amendment, and was happy to work with the bill sponsor on this amendment.
Representative Doherty.
And yes, I do urge a yes vote on this amendment.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L001. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The amendment passes. To the bill.
Thank you. And again, I would just urge an aye vote on the bill. We worked with the Clerks Association, who are very supportive, and I think this is a great bill for municipalities. Thank you.
Is there any further discussions? Seeing none, the question before us is adoption of 1185. As amended, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. The bill passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1202 until tomorrow.
House Bill 1202 has been laid over until tomorrow. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1171 until tomorrow.
House Bill 1171 has been laid over until tomorrow. Mr. Shebo, please read House Bill 1002.
House Bill 1002 by Representatives Mabry and Judah, also Senator Roberts, concerning the affordability of epinephrine auto-injectors.
Rep. Judah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the Health and Insurance Committee report, and I move L006 to the committee report and ask that it be properly displayed. And the bill. I move the bill.
Please move the bill.
I move HB 1002 and the committee report and L006 and ask that it be displayed. I have two committees. I apologize.
Please move first the Appropriations Committee report.
I move the Appropriations Committee report. I apologize.
To the Appropriations Committee report.
Appropriations were generous. They gave us some money, and we're good. I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The Appropriations Committee report is passed. To the Health and Insurance Committee report, Representative Joda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the Health and Insurance Committee report and L006 to the committee report and ask that it be displayed.
Got it? No, thank you.
I do. Do you want to explain it? I don't have the explanation. Where did it go? You want to raise your hand?
The health and insurance has been moved, and L006 has been properly displayed and moved. Representative Mabry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
So this amendment L006 is in response to some stakeholder feedback. One of the biggest stakeholders in this bill that we were working with was the pharmacies and the pharmacists. They were concerned with how they were going to get reimbursed for the cost of EpiPens on the back end because the design of this bill has the manufacturers of EpiPens reimbursing pharmacies. And this amendment just corrects some language in the initial amendment that we brought in committee to reflect how pharmacies want to be reimbursed. And we urge an aye vote.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L006. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. L006 has been passed. To the committee report. Representative Joda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hey, listen, committee went well. We talked about a lot of the need and injustices and equity. And the unjust cost of EpiPens the way it is now. I think we also thought it was important to mention that there is a disproportionate impact on communities of color, knowing that the outrageous cost of EpiPens were getting out of hand. So we really appreciated capping it at $60 for 2 pens, and it got out of committee unanimous, and we asked for an aye vote.
Are there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the committee report. Those as amended, those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The committee report passes. To the bill. Representative Mabry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move L005 to House Bill 23-1002 and ask that it be displayed.
Yep, go ahead.
L005 has been moved and properly displayed to the amendment. Rep. Mabry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this amendment is also in response to some feedback from stakeholders. The original version of this bill created a penalty for EpiPen manufacturers who did not comply with the provisions of the bill. Basically, what we're setting up is a program where EpiPen manufacturers are going to have to reimburse pharmacies for costs that are borne by the pharmacies in setting up this affordability program. The original version of this bill had a $10,000 a month fine on EpiPen manufacturers who were not complying. And this is modeled after insulin legislation that this body brought in 2021. However, the pharmacies have felt like there's not enough teeth or enforcement in the provisions of the bill as written. And so we're bringing this amendment after stakeholding with the Attorney General's office to make it clear that this is a violation of Colorado's unfair and deceptive trade practices law, and that the Attorney General has authority to enforce the law accordingly. And we urge an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L005. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. L05 passes. To the bill. Rep. Judah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good bill, vote yes.
Any further discussion? Rep. Mabry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So again, what we're trying to do with this legislation is follow the example that we set in 2019 and 2021, where we addressed the skyrocketing cost of insulin. This is a life-saving drug that Colorado families need and Colorado children need to live. However, it costs $8 for the manufacturer to make it. They are charging $700 for the EpiPen, so the costs have gotten out of hand for Colorado families, and we're using the model that the state used in 2019 and 2021 to create an affordability program for EpiPens that will help all Coloradans who suffer from allergies afford this life-saving medication, and we urge an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of 10002. As amended, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. House Bill 10002 passed. As amended. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1042.
House Bill 1042 has been laid over. Mr. Shebo, please Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me do that again. I move to lay over House Bill 1042 until tomorrow.
House Bill 1042 has been laid over until tomorrow. Mr. Shebo, please retitle to SB 23-084.
Senate Bill 84 by Senators Marchman and Gonzalez, also Representative Young, concerning the calculation of full-time employment for teachers at higher education institutions for purposes of the Federal Public Loan Forgiveness Program.
Rep. Young to the bill and committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee report and the bill, Senate Bill 2384. In the committee, we did amend this wonderful bill to clarify that the request for a form can only pertain to the employment records the institution has. This was in response to institutions of higher education's request. And we have had an amendment that clarified that former employees may also request the certification and have the multiplier applied.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Education Committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed no. The Education Committee report passed. To the bill, Representative Young.
If I haven't said it, it is an honor to serve with you.
It is truly an honor to serve with you.
The Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, PSLF, is a federal program that provides student loan relief for full-time public service workers after they have made 10 years of qualified payments. The federal program requires employees to work at least 30 hours a week in order to be eligible for the benefit. Because adjunct professor hours are only calculated for the time they spend in the classroom, they are not currently eligible for loan forgiveness through this program, even though they may realistically be working 30 hours or more when accounting for work spent outside of the classroom, such as grading, planning, and office hours. Having worked as an adjunct faculty, I can attest to the multiple hours I spent doing all of these activities outside of class time. This legislation will allow for an accurate count of adjunct hours and allow these professors to get federal debt relief through PSLF. This bill allows for a more realistic calculation of the hours adjuncts put into their work by adding a multiplier of 4.35 per contact hour in order to bring them up to full-time equivalency for the purpose of making them eligible for the public service loan forgiveness. If passed, this bill would help the 10,500 adjuncts currently teaching in Colorado higher ed and a few thousand more full-time faculty who started off as adjuncts who would be able to claim credit for these years. As this bill does not cost anything to the state of Colorado since this is a federal program. This bill would put adjunct faculty who teach the same course loads as tenure faculty. I urge and I vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is adoption of Senate Bill 84. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Senate Bill 84 passed. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
You've heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Schiebel, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, Committee of the Whole begs leave to report it has under consideration the following touch bills, being the second reading thereof and making the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1002 is amended, 1039 is amended, 1185 is amended, passed on second reading in order and engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 84 is amended, passed on second reading in order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1042, 1114, 1171, 1202 laid over until March 8th, 2023.
Representative Joseph. The motion before us is the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole. There are no amendments at the desk. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Titone is excused. Please close the machine. With 44 aye, 18 no, and 3 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. Any additional announcements? Representative Michelson-Janay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I forgot to mention that Public and Behavioral Health and Health and Insurance will be meeting in the Old State Library. So we will be meeting in the Old State Library 10 minutes. We will begin 10 minutes upon adjournment, sharply.
Thank you, Representative Michelson-Janay. Representative Ricks.
Hi. Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, members. Please remember tomorrow is International Women's Day. We're asking you to wear pink or red to show your support for the day in recognition of IWD.
Thank you. Seeing no additional announcements or introductions, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until tomorrow.
Seeing no objection, the balance of the calendar will be laid over until tomorrow. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess until later today.
Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess until later today.